Before. And here we go on another adventure. Back in the glorious Edale Vale. According to the forecast, there's 20% cloud cover, and the 20% cloud is right up where the bloody sun is. Isn't that typical? It's great to get out. We're just coming up to the start of the Pennine Way trail. Sorry, just coming up to getting onto the Pennine Way trail, and we're going to be following that. Smashing. If you know, you know. Since the last video, when I was back in the Lanshan Palace, I've had a few people ask me some questions about the Lanshan. They say, you know, do I really rate it? Would I recommend it to people? And the answer is yes, because two of the people who've been asking the questions is my brother and my brother-in-law, who are both sort of at the start of their wild camping careers. Not strangers to camping, but the wild camping bit's very different. And as a beginner, you have questions which you might not see on many videos. So I'm going to try to answer some of those questions today. I'm going to go right back to the basics. I'm going to try to put some interesting shots in at the same time, so you don't get too bored. Feel free to skip ahead or even, you know, not watch this video. But there's lots of information about the Lanshan coming up. Right, so cool. Now we're in the shade. It's going to be dropping down to 0 quite soon, I think. So I'll have to stay warm tonight. So the first question is, am I okay buying a tent from a cheap Chinese company? Which, you know, is a fair question. But 3FUL Gear, who make the Lanshan, is quite a reputable company, really. It stands for Three Fellas Ultralight Gear. And the three fellas in question are extremely experienced tent designers from Korea and China, who also do a hell of a lot of very serious ultralight camping. The Lanshan tent, they name all their products after places in China. And Lanshan stands for Orchard Mountain. And there are 2 or 3 places called Lanshan in China. So there are several different Lanshan tents. The main thing, the Lanshan 1 is a 1-person tent that uses 1 trekking pole. And the Lanshan 2 is a 2-person tent that uses 2 trekking poles. So a big difference. There's also pros, so there's the Lanshan 1 Pro and the Lanshan 2 Pro. The difference is that the Pro tents are made of sil nylon, which is 5 or 6 times stronger than the material that the normal Lanshans are made from, and so can stand up to much harsher conditions. However, it's only a single skin tent, so hasn't got the double skin, so you have condensation you get will be straight onto in the inside of the tent layer. Of course, you get a weight saving. So the Lanshan 2 Pro, I think, is 830 grams or thereabouts, whereas the Lanshan 2 is 1050 grams. See, when I get mine put up, mine has a T-zip on the inside, which means basically you can open up both sides fully. You can also get them with a J-zip, which is I think the older tents have J-zips in them, where only one side, half of one side opens, and you are very limited with it. There's also 3-season and 4-season inners. Now, use the 4-season bit advisedly. There would be people arguing that it's not really a 4-season tent. I think it'll put up with most conditions in this country, apart from the very, very most extreme, as a 4-season tent. So the 3-season has a mesh inner, and pretty much the whole of the inner is a mesh. It's lovely, but it doesn't take very much of a breeze to blow straight in one side of your tent, straight through the mesh, straight out the other, and you're sat there nithered in the middle. I bought the 3-season inner version of the Lanshan 2. I used it once and then ordered a 4-season inner. And of course you can do that, you can buy the inners separately. And the 4-season inner is much better. Hello. I love this landscape. If you think where it came from, so 320 million years, this was a river delta. Now 320 million is a big number, but these big numbers, we hear them, don't we? We don't really know what they are. Can't really put them into context. And if you were to start counting once every second and not stop for sleep, food, just carry on going, you'd be dead quite quickly. But you'd have to carry on counting for 10 years to get to 320 million. A long, long time ago. And there've been 4 ice ages since then, which the last one finished about 10,000 years ago. And it had a mile thick slab of ice on top of Scotland that was so heavy that it tilted the whole country. In fact, it wasn't a country because we were actually connected to Europe at that point. Because during that ice age, the sea level was 120 metres lower, and the Dogger Bank and Dogger Land connected the two of us. And when that ice melted, formed ginormous lakes as big as seas, huge amounts of water. And they had to get back down to the lower ground. And they did it catastrophically, so there would be a huge lake, and at some point, maybe heavy rainfall or something, or some ice melted, the water would be released and it would scour the ground and form valleys like this one. So people will tell you, oh, that tiny little river down there, I've no idea what it's called. That tiny little river has cut this. It hasn't. It's cut some of it, but it won't cut all this. But the huge glacier ice water melts have done. They've cut this. The gorse is looking good. Oh, it'll be in flower in no time at all. That lovely golden yellow colour. This is the 17th century Packhorse Bridge. It's actually a listed building. And supposedly, although it's 17th century, there are Saxon stones in its foundation. So Saxon would be 500 to 1500 years ago. There's Jacob's Ladder going up, and that's Jacob's Ladder pack horse route. I think this is the original Jacob's Ladder route. They're the steps that Jacob cut. So this is Edale Head House. It was actually a house, and not just a shelter for animals. If you look at the plan view of it, there's like 3 sections to it. And this was where Jacob Marshall lived when he cut the steps into the side of the hill so he could run down faster while his mules came down on the pack horse route. It has got another name. It was called something else when he was here, and then for some reason it became Edale Head House. I don't know who renamed it and why it was renamed. Having said that, that does look very much there like an entrance for sheep to come in and out of. And what I'm looking for is somewhere there is JM carved in. Haven't seen it yet. So it's very probable that inside there was a section for animals to go and a section where Jacob lived, or his family, if indeed he had a family. And this was 17th century, I believe, so that's 200 years ago since he lived here, and I don't think he'd have been the first person to live here. So you can see this quite large room here with the door, and then this side here has got a room here, and another room here. Looks like there was a fireplace in that one. committed the cardinal sin, and I've got my tent on a very slight slope. It's not very much of one, but it's really thrown things out. Everything's sliding around and frustrating. Just waiting for the meal to cook through. I'll put some water in. I'm using Fray Bentos sweet and sour. A full packet of Fray Bentos sweet and sour, half a packet of rice. Its full weight is 380 grams, I think, maybe 400 grams. Banged it in my dehydrator, 60 grams. So I've put it into this pot, covered it in water. And then brought that to the boil. I'll leave it boiling for about 5 minutes and then see how it is. It's a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. Disappointed I forgot to bring my soup, but there you go. Got this spoon, in fact I've got a spoon, fork and knife from Outlery, and they aren't light, they're quite heavy, but it's very compact, so that breaks into 3 parts and goes inside my cook set. Dead chuffed with that. I've got a Opinel size 02, I think. Most minute little knife you ever could imagine. It's really sweet. Probably too small. I think I should have gone, oh, it's a number 2. Number 4 I think would be good. I have got a number 8 which is brilliant, but I think the number 4 would be the optimum size. Filming's going well. It's getting cool. I think we're down 2 degrees now. It's going to go below that. So looks like the food's ready. So, apart from a patch of ice and a little bit of squash grass, leaving no trace. All packed up now, ready to go. Didn't mention these trekking poles. These are some Black Diamond track poles. They're exceptionally good value at the moment. I shall put a link in the description for them. Top end performance. These are the budget end of Black Diamond ones, but this is the really good poles. Essential, of course, for the trekking pole tent, but if you use them, then they're great. 2 Lanshans out. Gorgeous. Had some frost in the morning. There was a bit of frost on the tent. Didn't sleep well because the site wasn't level. I mean, stupid mistake. But there wasn't a choice. It was the place we were at. There wasn't really enough to put 2 Lanshans down. Weirdest thing happened. 8 o'clock last night, I just caught the glimpse in the corner of my eye of some torchlight in the pitch black, and I looked down the valley, and there was a guy. You see the fence line coming from the Packhorse Bridge going up? There was someone going up there with a head torch on, and they went all the way up, right to the very top. And I thought it were Robocop, honestly. The speed that person went up, I don't know whether it was a man or a woman, and then maybe 20 minutes later he ran down on another route. So they had been up to the top and then back down. That's some going, is that? I bet he wasn't just round the corner neither. I bet he had a couple of miles to get here. So that's incredible. Kudos to you, mate. Prestige, that's fantastic. I don't know, you probably will never see me say this, but that's great. Anyway, if you got as far as this in the video, thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me some feedback. Are there any bits, anything I've said that you want to talk about? Am I wrong in any of it? Have you got any supporting evidence to support what anything I've said? You know, about Jacob's Ladder and the landscape and that kind of thing. So as always, thank you very much for viewing. Clicking like and subscribing if you want to do that. You don't have to, of course, but much appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one, which is not going to be very long. I'm actually planning to do 2 camps next week, so there might even be, don't know whether I'll do 2 videos or just 1. So see you then. Thank you.